We need to stop saying limit cards. We need to fucking start outright banning shit. We talked about it 2 podcasts ago. I just want to reiterate it again.
Yep.
I'm so fucking tired of these half-ass fucking ban lists that aren't ban lists. They're just limit.
Let's be realistic.
I do not want to see the fucking one of, bro. Get it out of here. I'm tired of it.
Imagine you get hit with that one of emissary. It's like HPD.
It doesn't make sense to me because in Digimon, it's a stack-based game. If the card is broken enough that if it's in the stack, it can win you the game, why is it at 1? I don't want to see it. The only cards to me that make sense when they're at 1 are cards like
Ice Wall.
Ice Wall's fine, or even like cards that add security attack +1. Like if that's at 1, I understand it. Like that could be at 1 because you're not adding 4 to the, like Alphamon, right? Doru Greymon was like that's at 1. I'm like whatever. Like that's cool. I don't mind that. You know what I mean? Like because you can't add 4 more of them anymore. You can't add 4 to a stack. Yeah. But like I'm so tired of losing
to stupid one-offs.
Stupid like oh you saw your random one of? Thank you, bro.
Saki.
I'm so glad this happened. This is a great game.
HVD, you went Bloom +4? That's crazy.
I don't even think HPD is ever gonna get banned at this point,
right?
Never. But like I just like it doesn't make sense to me. Like if a card is good enough that if you see it you win the game and that's why it got hit, then why is it at 1? That makes no sense. I'm so tired of that shit. So otherwise I agree. Emissary needs to go. Patamon needs to go. Fuck Ukomon. Like I don't. Like,
I feel like the Ukomons are something I'd be fine with at 1, like both of them.
Yeah, I would be fine with that too. I'm already on my hate train, so no. Fuck that.
I'd even be fine with like a semi-limit, right? Like having 2 of those cards.
No,
so that you could run like 4 Ukomon max, like 2 of each. But like Numemon running 8 Ukomon is just like, oh, good lord. Like that was my biggest thing playing against Dan, because at one point he had like 2 Ukomon out and 1 in raising. And I was like, if I don't deal with this, he has so much advantage next turn because he had the searching one and 2 memory gaining ones. I was like, he's going to get a search and he's going to gain 2 memory. How do I deal with this?
They just pile up.
Think of how thankful we shall be that Bukomon is at 1 right now and not at 4. Imagine we had to deal with jamming Ukomons, bro.
Yo, my Ukomon never died. I hate it sometimes.
Bro.
Already, so I don't need
it. oh God.
I'll just say one thing real quick. About the whole ban list thing. Bandai has a history of not addressing the problems when they need to be addressed. They just kind of sweep it under the rug a little bit, and then much later on they'll get rid of it. And I hate to bring up Dragon Ball, but that's where my background is. That game was notorious for that. Like they would have real legitimate problems in the game and they would just try and put band-aids on it instead of just getting rid of the initial problem that opened up all the complaints and all the issues. So that's just what they do. They're trying to please too many people instead of just doing what's the best thing for the game.
And that was an English only game.
They do that with every game. One Piece is the same way. By the time they banned Whitebeard, Whitebeard was only even banned for a month. Yep. They were like literally like everyone was like, please ban this fucking deck. I don't want to deal with it. And they're like, all right, fine. And they literally only banned it for a month. It's like they're really bad. Sakazuki is still in the English meta because it was only banned for Japan. And then they made like this new errata for Sakazuki, which is just fucking awful.
But that leader is trash,
bro. So bad. But like even like there's a purple yellow pudding now, and like there's like 10 cost Big Mom has been a problem in One Piece. I feel like since OPO4 with Katakuri, and it still is not going to get addressed. And now they can just ramp into 10 cost Big Mom, and it's the stupidest shit in the world. Mm-hmm. I have like I don't know. They're just dumb.
Yeah,
they be doing shit like that on purpose.
Talking about Dragon Ball, I can talk on it because I played it not recently, but like I've played it within the last like year and a half, 2 years. They came out with an entirely new block, a whole new like mechanic, which was Zenkai. That was like your Z energy, right? That was BT18 for them. And they had 2 leaders that were absolutely cracked. It was SS4
Red Sin Shenron and SS4.
Yeah, SS4 and Red Sin Shenron, and they dominated for 3 sets. It took all of 3 sets for those cards to get hit. all of BT18, all of BT19, all of BT20. They were finally banned, not restricted, banned in BT21. It took 3 sets for these decks to like dominate. For ban, and they'd be like, all right, like, yeah, we got to ban. They tried. I remember when I think Yamcha got limited. They limited some Gamma cards. Like,
Yamcha actually relevant.
Yeah, Merciless Barrage was a problem for a long time.
Well, it's because it was a good red. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, free counterplays.
And they restricted that before they banned these leaders, and they even banned the freaking 8-drop for SS4 because that card was also stupidly cracked. And it's like, how long do we have to suffer before you deal with the issue? And it's like compounded for Digimon because they're considering both an English player base and a Japanese player base. And I know everybody's biggest concern is, all right, cool. So when we're united, what does this mean for the ban list? Are you going to give us a timely ban list, or are you going to keep playing the same pussyfoot and be like, well, I know it's BT24 right now, and we're going to try to extend it to BT26 before, and hope it's not an issue by BT26. No, just deal with the issue retroactively, hit the cards that need to be hit, and then if it can come off the ban list, have it come off the fucking ban list. It's not that hard.
Facts.
Yeah, I think they're never going to do that, though, because they don't want a repeat of BT14 with decline in sales because they pre-limited a Pokemon before it came out in English. BT15. Or 15, rather. So, yeah, when we unify the game, I think ban lists are going to be more reactive as opposed to proactive because we have to figure everything out first, and we have to figure out all the degenerate combos at the same time and not like be spoon-fed it like from Japan. Like we all have to figure it out first, and then they can address it. So it's never going to happen.
I just want to say, for what it's worth, they did limit a card for Dragon Ball, like basically a set later. BT23 Kamehameha, Omen of Victory, and it was limited in BT24. That's pretty good. Hopefully, like this is the
game.
Well, that's neither here nor there. But go ahead, Dan.
I was gonna say it depends on if they decide to have a set time of ban list too. That might be a thing as well, maybe going forward, especially we're being united. Right now it's just up in the air, random, and they go by what they hear right now, and that's how they do their ban list. So if once unification happens, maybe they'll have, hey, we'll have a ban list like January, and then the next ban list would be like September or something, or like that 6-month period or something like that. That could be a thing, and that could be good or bad depending on how you look at it, because at one point Yu-Gi-Oh's done both from my experience. They've had times where they had, all right, this is when we're going to drop a ban list, such and such today, this is where it's going to be. And then there was times where it was just random, like you didn't know when it was going to happen. I would say sometimes they did the same thing in the sense of, I guess, Dragon Ball, right? They would sometimes they would wait until it was like something else is kind of crazy, and then they're like, all right, we gotta start heading in because they're still too good and we want to sell stuff. A lot of times they do that. Sometimes they will hit it reactively depending on how crazy dominant a deck is. Example, always the perfect example, Pepe having 31 out of 32 tops in a top 32.
Oh, that's Yu-Gi-Oh, right?
Yeah, they they did an emergency ban list like within the next week or something like that, which can be good for the game's health.
Crazy, bro.
Yeah, I feel like that's okay though. I feel like emergency ban lists are okay because if like you said, if they see like 31 out of 32, that's crazy. Like that's totally fine. My concern is like, let's say they don't do like I think Yu-Gi-Oh for a long time had quarterly ban lists, like every 3 months there was a new ban list moving into
it's every 6 months. Might be now, cool. I think, but I know at one point it was every 6 months or so.
I remember they used to be hell late with ban lists too.
Yeah, that too. That's what I said. They used to just do whatever it felt like at one point. They would say, hey, we're gonna have a ban list here, and then sometimes they didn't. Like I think right now there's like every like May, and there's like something in like, so you might be right in the quarterly now. I think
it's like every 3 or 4 months they do it.
I think so, yeah. Because that game kind of needs it, because that game, they just go through like each set, something busted comes out, and it's like, all right, we need to relax on something, because they didn't realize the interaction happens with an old ass card, and it's like, oh, this is broken now. That's what happens when you have 10,000 plus cards, you know. Versus us, I think that's why they kind of take their time with it, because they're like, all right, it's kind of busted, but we have other things that's coming out, so it might not be too bad down the line. And we kind of seen that with some decks. Like they took forever to hit Grand Quagamon, right? And by the time they hit it, it was like, right?
Beating
like
a dead horse
no one
at
cares
that point.
at that point.
Yeah.
But it depends on how they, I guess, what they do when it comes to unifications.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to say I looked through like the DBS ban list and restriction list, and holy shit! Not only do they like have a lot of cards up, but like they have so many patchwork hits in there. I've seen so many cards, and that's one thing like I hate that they've done and that they're doing in Digimon, because they did that shit with like APOC. They hit like an entire
everything
everything
before
but
they hit
APOC.
the problem cards.
And then they hit APOC, but then they didn't take the other cards off the list. And it's like, bro, why?
Yeah,
dude. Real quick, I'll tell you a real quick story about DBS. They had a real problem with like the Mecha Frieza leader, right? So they never banned it, right? Until they finally like they errated it to the point where it was unplayable. But then they rebooted the leader and made it more broken than it was originally. And then they never banned it until it like literally 3 or 4 sets later. Then they were like, all right, we're gonna finally ban this leader. So they had the original leader. They had to errata it to essentially like ban, like shadow ban it. And then they rebooted it. And then they decided to wait 6 months before they banned it.